Thanks for joining us for 5 on 5. I'm Joe Sullivan. Pleased to be joined by Danny Jordan, Chief Administrative Officer for Jackson County. Danny, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, first question off the top. The Multi-Use Pandemic Response Center is under construction on the Jackson County Expo grounds. How's it coming along, and why this and not a jail?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, first of all, this is built with American Rescue Plan acts and local assistance and tribal consistency funds. Those funds have very specific allowable uses, so we couldn't use them to build a jail. They have to be used to primarily deal with responding to what may be a pandemic in the future or responding to impacts from the pandemic we had. There's a guidebook by the federal government. It has a lot of rules that you have to follow in order to be able to do it. We consulted with an outside audit firm to make sure this project qualified before we move forward. Right now we're about 50% complete on construction. It's going well. Anticipate it to be done in the fall of 26. And this is a great project for our community. First of all, I addressed the need for pandemic response. So we did need a lot of housing for non-congregate housing. When we first faced the pandemic, we did testing, which required a lot of space. And we also did vaccinations. We learned during that process that we didn't have adequate ability to serve food for people. We didn't have adequate space to facilitate the numbers of people we were dealing with. When we had people living with us, we didn't even have the ability for people to take showers. So that's the primary purpose of the facility, but it also has ancillary uses. One being able to respond to other emergencies, and we know from Alameda and Open Chain, we had 3,000 to 4,000 people out there. This will allow us. Has a commercial kitchen. It has adequate shower space, breakout rooms, so when we have to treat people for medical issues. So any kind of emergency, we can use it to respond to. And we saw gaps in our ability to shelter people when we had those other emergencies. And then finally, it's going to create a new line of business for the county, for the expo. So sporting events, other kind of rental facilities, not unlike Rogue X, but similar. And we're renting part of the space out to the city of Central Point. So while this project's budgeted at $61.5 million, about $4.7 million of that is contingency. ARPA funds were $43 million. The local assistance and tribal consistency funds were about $4.4 million. We've been able to invest that and earn nearly $7 million in interest to help to go towards the project. So by the time we get to the end of the project, we're going to probably use just a couple of $1 million in reserves. We're going to lease a portion of the building to Central Point at $860,000 a year for 35 years. So this will be also a revenue generator for the county.
Valuable information right there about this. What other capital projects does the county have working?
Yeah, we have a lot going on right now. I guess
in about a minute, let us know.
Yeah, I'll start with the airport. It's a $180 million airport expansion project. We're breaking it down in 3 phases. Phase 1's up $115 million. About $90 million of that is towards construction. That'll expand the current terminal out towards the tower. It will more than double the space. It will allow us to go to jet bridges for all passenger boarding and deplaning, which means people won't have to walk outside anymore.
When is the timeline on that? When would people be able to do that?
Yeah, we intend to start construction in 2027. We haven't we're in design phase, so we haven't got an exact construction schedule.
I think that's real exciting. People at the airport being able to get without going outside onto the plane. That's pretty cool.
That's a big deal. We'll also expand concessions, so we'll have more concession opportunities for people, and we'll be enhancing our luggage handling capacity. That's mostly on the side people don't see, not the luggage return, but on the airport side where we move luggage off on and off planes. Phase 2 will be about $35 million. That will expand the outside luggage and the car rental facilities. And then phase 3 will expand the ticket counter and then remodel the existing facility. Phase 3 then will allow us to also bring in a new TSA line, so we'll be able to move more people more quickly through the airport.
All right. We're going to take a quick break and be right back with part 2 of our 5 on 5. Stay with us. I'm Joe Sullivan. Welcome back to part 2 of our 5 on 5 with Danny Jordan, Chief Administrative Officer for Jackson County. You were talking about capital projects. Let's talk a little bit more. Do you have a couple more capital projects?
Yeah, sure. We're currently working on a new animal shelter facility. It's about a $15 million project. We've contracted with KS&W out of Ashland. They've subcontracted with a pretty nationally renowned animal shelter design facility out of Boston. We're in the conceptual design process right now. That project probably won't be delivered till 27. We'll construct it in 26.
What are you hoping to do?
We're going to expand capacity. First of all, our current facility is extraordinarily dilapidated. It hasn't served, it served us well, but it's well past its useful life. We're moving the location of the facility to be out where in White City, where our jail site is. Gives us lots of room for future expansion, which we don't have now. We're going to expand capacity. We're going to have a new clean facility that can serve. Mostly we're going to focus on dogs. That's the county's responsibility by statutory obligations. And we will have some space for cats, but it'll mostly be for evidence, not as a cat shelter.
Okay, what's the other project you're working on?
Well, real early stages, we have to provide court space for the courts in the county. It's the county's responsibility to provide courts for the state courts. We're eligible for 4 or 5 new judges in our county, but we don't have space for them, and that tells you what our caseload is. It's huge. We have squeezed every inch out of the current courthouse we have, so we're planning a $20 million project that will sit in front of the current courthouse. So I have one point of entry. We're working with the state on helping us assist to gain funds. Representative Marsh is working with us, so we're looking for some legislative help with this one, but we hope to be delivering that in 27, 28.
Oh, we have about 30 seconds left. Is there anything else you'd like our viewers to know about?
Just that the county's working hard for people, that we're managing public funds well. We have a $660 million budget, which is something a lot of people don't know. About $266 million of that is reserves, ending fund balance, and contingencies, which means we have the ability to deliver these projects, these capital projects. $300 million worth of capital projects we'll deliver in the next 5 or 6 years with no new taxes. We've delivered over $300 million in the last 20 years with no new taxes. That's very unique for a local government, and we hope to continue to be able to do that.
Danny, thank you for stopping by. It's exciting to hear about these projects.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back with more local news.